Majors fans, and welcome back to Majors Quarantine Corner. I'm Noah Smith. Dylan Baker here with me, and we welcome you back for another week presented by Fanshawe College, the official educational partner of the London Majors. Dylan, last week, Chris Chambers joined us on the phone from California, and we got to talk a little bit to him.
Yeah, we did, Noah, and you know what? We had a great conversation with Chris talking about his time earlier on in the decade with the Majors, the fun he was able to have with this team, and the relationships that he built that still last him to this day with players from those squads earlier on in the decade. And of course, we chatted a little bit about the specialness of his return, if you will, last season with the Majors, and talking about his return to London, putting on the uniform again, and how awesome that was for him.
Yeah, it was really great to hear from Chris. And like you mentioned, I think the relationships was probably the biggest thing that I took away from that. He's a guy that's living on the other side of the world, essentially. I mean, it's California. It's not that far away, but it's a long way away from London here. And he still has those relationships here. And he talks about how badly he wants to come back.
Yeah, he does. He's training at home. He would love to play baseball again. He's got a family now, right? So it's a little bit more difficult. And it really shows you how special baseball is because you know what? You build these relationships when you are younger in your career, like Chris was back in the early 2010s, and you still talk to these players to this day. They become friends and you're in contact. It shows how special the game of baseball is and how amazing it is.
You can check out the interview and the episode with Chris on our YouTube page, as well as all the other episodes. Some exciting news for us, Dylan, coming out in the past week, as all our episodes will actually be airing on Rogers TV locally here in London, starting on Friday nights.
Yeah, we're very excited to have our Majors Quarantine Corner on Friday nights on Rogers TV. It started last week, and we had a great conversation with RJ Fuhrer in that one. But we're very excited to be on Rogers TV. It helps grow the London Majors in the IBL, and it helps them as well during these tough times. So we're very excited to be on Rogers TV and have more people be able to tune in on a bigger screen.
And of course, as we do every single week here, a very quick thank you to all those frontline workers helping us get through these tough times. And hopefully we're moving towards a little bit more normalcy as we get forward here into the summer. Coming up next week, Dylan Byron Reichstein will be joining the show. But first, coming up this week, very exciting guest for us.
Yeah, we've got a great guest this week, and of course, we're very excited to talk to Byron next week. But today, we've got Owen Boon joining the show. Owen, of course, a pitcher who's played with the Majors for a long time, one of the longer-tenured Majors pitchers, and he has 199 career strikeouts. That was in the Trivia Tuesday question from last week. We're very excited to get a chance to chat with Owen about his time with the Majors and how much fun he's had with the organization over the past several years. Should be a great conversation with him.
So without further ado, Dylan, let's go ahead and we'll welcome our guest for this week here on Majors Quarantine Corner, Owen Boon. We are joined now by London Majors pitcher Owen Boon. Owen, how's it going today?
I'm doing well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me today.
We're excited to have you on and chat with you about your time with the Majors. Growing up in London, Owen, did you ever dream of playing for the Majors or look up to any of their players?
I definitely remember going to the ballpark when I was younger, and I think it was the first time that I was introduced to Cleveland Brownlee, and I just remember them taking batting practice and him hitting a ball so far over the fence and just looking at all of us. And I was probably early teenage years at that point, and Cleveland just saying, "That's how you hit a home run, boys. Like that's how you win baseball games." And we're all just mystified by it, right? And from that point on, I was like, I want to play on the same stage as this guy. I want to play at Labatt Park, and I want to wear the pinstripes.
So obviously you go there and you watch Cleveland swing the bat. You weren't always just a pitcher. Did you ever dream of batting for the London Majors?
No, to be honest, once I started pitching, probably in my late teenage years, I really just kind of that was my niche. That was one thing where I kind of was a bit of a late bloomer, but it was one thing that I always really enjoyed about it. It's something kind of soothing about getting on the mound and just trying to throw as hard as you can. It's pretty good stress relief on most days, and from then on, I just really enjoyed throwing the ball, and hitting just kind of took a back seat and was never really at the forefront of my mind, to be honest.
Well, you've been a very successful pitcher in the IBL, but that's not the only place you've pitched. As you played in the CAN-AM League in the 2017 and 2018 seasons. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. I loved every bit of it. There's something to be said about playing for the majors here in the IBL, but um, once you take the step up and you get a chance to play every day and travel with the team overnights, going to different stadiums, playing a series there, getting the feel for what professional baseball is actually like. You have a greater appreciation for the game, and you have a greater appreciation for pros that just do it day in and day out, because it does take a toll on you mentally and physically, and getting yourself ready to perform whenever your name's called it can be a tough thing to do sometimes, especially in the dog days of summer. But I loved every second of it. I wish everybody got to experience it. If I could go back all again, I wish I could do it longer, but sadly it just doesn't work out that way sometimes. But yeah, it was unbelievable.
We talked to a lot of guys so far in the episodes, and we talked to them about transitioning from one league to another. What was the transition like going from the IBL to the Can-Am League?
I think the thing that stuck out the most was size. All the hitters that you face in the Can-Am League, they're bigger. They have a bigger presence in the box. They look more intimidating. Everybody's got power. They're more established as hitters, and I think just the overall raw athleticism of people really shine through. And it's not to say that the IBL is lacking that in any sense. It's actually gotten a lot more comparable to the Can-Am over the last couple seasons since I've been back, and I noticed that the talent is deeper on each team every passing season, which is great to see. And honestly, I think being in the IBL, where it's an open age limit, where you're playing against grown men, when you come in as a teenager, you get that experience against playing against some older guys who have had great careers and are very experienced and know how to beat you. And then when you make the jump to the Can-Am League, players are closer to age. You kind of have a little bit more experience and savvy, and a little bit more mental toughness to kind of handle tough situations. So I was really appreciative of my experience in the IBL before I made it to the Can-Am League.
Moving back to that time in the IBL, in 2016, you had a very successful season, posting a 2.48 ERA on the majors pennant-winning team. What was so special about that season for you and the squad?
Honestly, I think just the group of guys that we had. From day one, we had a good group of guys, and we all meshed together really well. That was by far the most fun group of guys that I've ever been a part of. We still talk today. We still reminisce about that season. Honestly, that 2016 season was probably my favorite year for being a major, but it was also probably like my greatest disappointment too, when we got cut short in the semis in Game 7. I think that was kind of like a huge letdown for us, because we felt like we had such a talented team with so much depth and chemistry and camaraderie, that when we got cut short, it just kind of left a little bit of a hole, right? But honestly, team chemistry and everybody just kind of coming together and wanting to compete, have fun competing with each other.
Moving on to you on the mound, you do a few different roles. You've been a starter, you've been a reliever. Is there one of the two that you prefer to do more?
Yeah, absolutely. If I had my choice, I'd love to be a starter. I love knowing that I'm going to be in the game, and I love the mental prep. And I know that, okay, I'm going to go out there for as long as I can. I can just give it my all and empty the tank, and kind of be in control of the game. I think one of the hardest things for a pitcher at any level is handing the ball over to somebody else in a situation where they feel like, I got this, coach, I got this, let me do this, right? But sometimes it's definitely in the best interest of the team to swap play to a pitching change. But as a starter, that you're going to go at least 5-6 innings, especially on the majors. You're probably going to be going 7, right? 130 pitches, so you're definitely going to be in control and have a big mark on the game, and that's what I enjoy doing the most.
So how tough is that as a reliever in the few relief appearances that you have made, knowing that you could probably come in there and help out the team, but not being called upon?
It's okay. I mean, you get used to it. You kind of have an idea in your head when, in certain situations, when your name is likely going to be called and when it's not. But that's the thing as a reliever, and that's the trick that I learned when I was in the CANA. I was a reliever for the entire season, except for the last 3 weeks. I got a few starts, but you just always got to be in that mindset and have the ability to kind of engage yourself whenever you feel like a situation's getting close to where they're going to make a pitching change, and you get yourself kind of zoned in quickly, and you got to be able to get yourself loose and ready quickly too.
During your time at the majors, you also got to spend some time playing university ball. What was that like, and how do you think that may have benefited you playing in the IBL?
I loved playing for the university. Honestly, I think I had my cake and ate it too, if that's not too cheesy to say. A lot of guys that played with growing up came through the Badgers organization. They went to play different, institutes in the States. And then most of them got burnt out, and they were either injured, they lost their interest in baseball. With Western, I was able to, or when they came back and, they focused on baseball when they were down there, and they tried to transfer and get degrees over here. Sometimes their marks didn't transfer. So I was really fortunate where I was able to go to school, get a good education at a good institution, and still play baseball. And definitely playing against those older players who have been in the league a lot. I had a great few mentors, past major, Adam Page. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he took me under his wing day one when I got to Western baseball, and he taught me kind of more about his philosophy of pitching. Plus, having Mike Lumley for another 4 years was a treat, and he knows everything there is to know about pitching. So just having that more of a coaching and influence from those guys really kind of helped develop your craft a little bit.
That's awesome. Of course, Mike, one of the wisest minds when it comes to pitching. Owen, you've been with the Majors organization since 2014, even now living further away from London. What has kept you coming back each year?
That park, I don't think there's any place I'd much rather be on a Friday night than playing in front of fans at Labatt Park. The sun setting right in your eyes from the outfield, and just you've cultivated so many good relationships with a lot of guys in these teams that have come through, and there's just a lot of history with this team, and with this team within the city. It's just honestly, it's got to be one of my favorite places in the world to be at, and I can't picture myself wanting to play anywhere else within the league, no matter the offer.
Now, we ask a lot of guys when they come on what their favorite place to play is around the league. This is the first time we've really got a chance to talk to a pitcher and a guy that started a lot of games. Is there a place in the league that you really love to start on the road?
Honestly, I really enjoyed starting at Welland last season. It was their first season in the league, but their mound is really well shaped, and just the way that the visual you get when you look towards the plate, you feel like you are right on top of the hitter, and he looks like he's 40 feet away from you. So you feel like you got a little bit something extra because your feet are sticking really well into the mound, and you're getting nice and downhill. Between Welland, it'd be a toss-up with Barrie as well. Barrie, I enjoy playing at Barrie. But those would be my two favorite places outside of London to play at.
The mound provides you with a little bit of extra confidence, and you talked about it a little bit earlier when you're talking about the majors going deep in ball games. That shows that your coaching staff has confidence in you. As a starting pitcher, how important is that show of confidence from the staff?
I think historically, the past few seasons, the starting pitching has been heavily relied upon throughout the main course of the season. Sorry, I forgot your question. Do you mind doing that again? I kind of lost my train of thought there.
For sure, yeah. So, how important is confidence from the coaching staff in going into a game as a starter?
Confidence is huge. I think confidence from your coach is, it's a big boost, but ultimately you got to be the one to have confidence in yourself at the end of the day. You have to be the one to will yourself to get the job done if that's necessary, and just, earning the respect and confidence of your teammates. They're the ones playing behind you. That's really a huge thing. When you come off the mound after, a tough game, a hard fought game, and, your teammates are, giving you props and, congratulating you, giving you respect. That's huge, right? Because we're a team, and you want to do everything you can to help those guys win.
Moving on to kind of everything that's going on right now, Owen, what have you been doing to kind of keep ready for a baseball season if we do get to have one this summer?
I hope we get to have one this summer. Honestly, I've been itching to go. I've got some workout equipment here that I do. I try and keep in shape as best I can. When the weather's nice, I'll work out outside. I'm usually fairly active after work every day, running around, shoot hoops a lot, and then I usually go to the school. There's a brick wall there, and I just throw the ball against the brick wall. And right now I'm kind of in the market for some fresh baseballs because mine are all pretty beat up after that, and it's tough to really find a good one with some quality seams left.
That's great that you've been able to get out and keep in shape during these times. Final question from me for you, Owen. Did you have any goals? What mentality were you going into this season with if it were to start on time?
Oh, this year I'm really disappointed with the COVID-19 situation that kind of threw a speed bump in our season here. My mentality coming into this season, I wanted to be top 5 pitcher in the league. I wanted to get out there and just dominate guys, get ahead, command the zone. Really, I wanted to cut down on walks and just work on throwing my pitch and just going right after guys. Not trying to throw the perfect pitch like I've been in the past and get my walks up a little bit higher than they definitely should have been, and kind of work at just being in the zone, attacking guys, making them hit into outs, and just ultimately keeping that longevity and being able to go deeper into the game.
Awesome, Owen. Well, sounds like you are ready to go if we do get to play, and hopefully we get to see you on the bump this summer. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us today.
No problem, guys. I really appreciate you having me. If there's do you mind if I just say a little spiel here?
Absolutely.
I've been thinking about it quite a bit today, just in kind of light of what's going on. I think it's kind of important for us to. I saw some comments on the social media page, kind of criticizing the posting of what advertising this interview due to Black Lives Matter and Blackout Tuesday, and rightfully so, because the event was to kind of amplify the voices of those that have been oppressed and the victims of systemic racism. And the whole goal was to kind of not post about self-promotion or your brand and stuff like that. And baseball has been so good to me because what I've gained from it the most is the relationships that you build with people. The diversity within the game is incredible. It's what makes it great. And just being a white male, I've been very ignorant of my privilege. And I understand that I don't understand the kind of prejudice and racism that some of my teammates might have encountered and still encounter to this day. And what I want to kind of do is for people who might potentially watch this, and in the London area especially, who are kind of struggling to kind of feel a way to connect with those people who are protesting peacefully on the front line, who I just want to say I have so much admiration and respect for those people who are bravely and peacefully protesting for everybody down in the States. I know that in Canada it's tough to feel like it doesn't happen, but racism is not exclusive to the United States, and it's not extinct here in Canada. We still see it, and I encourage people to educate themselves as much as they can on the topic so that they are able to have an informed opinion when it comes time to vote for leadership, for getting people in the right places to help change the fundamental system here. And as well, I just want people, if they don't know where the next step should be after making an Instagram post, there's always opportunities to look online and look for ways to donate. You can join a peaceful protest somewhere in the community and promote Black artists, literature, all that kinds of stuff, and just be an upstanding citizen. Just hold yourself to a high standard and hold others to a high standard in your community, that you shouldn't let other people be oppressed, and you should stand up for other people when their voices don't seem to be being heard. And with that, I just want to say thank you guys for letting me say that, and thank you guys so much for having me on this talk. I really appreciate seeing you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to meet up on the ball field this summer.
Awesome. Thanks, Owen, and stay safe, stay healthy out there.
You too, guys. Thank you. Take care.
That was Owen Boon joining us here on Majors Quarantine Corner, another great guest for us, Dylan. Coming up next week for us, Byron Reichstein will be joining the show, and another current player, another guy who's been around for a long time on this Majors team.
Yes, he sure has. No, we had a great conversation with Owen today about his time with the Majors and in the CANA League. He shared some great stories over his time with the team and talked about how much he really wanted that 2016 team to go deep in the playoffs. Byron next week should be a very fun guest. Of course, he's one of the longest tenured Majors, I believe, second only behind Cleveland Brownlee. So we're very excited to get the chance to chat with him, and he will have a lot of stories to share about his time with the Majors. He's been around longer than most of the players on the roster have. Very talented player as well, so we're excited to chat with him.
That comes up next week here on Quarantine Corner. A reminder, you can always check out everything we have on the go on our social media pages, London Majors, as well as our Facebook page and our YouTube page. From Dylan Baker, Noah Smith, we thank you for watching with us today, and we look forward to seeing you next week.